Tom and Morgan are two mates who love talking nonsense about pop culture while also enjoying a beer. They've taken their drunken ramblings from the pub to the studio to teach each other about all kinds of films, TV shows, video games and more. From 80s cartoons to 90s kids shows, action film franchises to cult games, they'll chat about anything remotely geek related. It's Morgan, Jeffery and Tom Eames! Welcome, both of you, to wonderful Slough.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
First time you ventured this far west?
I've never been to Slough.
I have been to Slough before, about 10, 12 years ago, something like that.
It's
I
taken
remember
you
nothing about it.
Taking you all that time to come
But
back.
never been to the Thunderbirds themed
No.
hotel.
Yeah,
No, very cool.
That was
Isn't
very
it?
exciting.
Yeah, great. Well, it's fantastic to have you on the Gerry Anderson podcast. A bit of a sort of a mashup we're having this
Pod
week.
smash.
Yeah, pod smash.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit, Tom, about Two Geeks, Two Beers.
Well, it was a podcast that we decided to do, how long ago now?
Almost 10
Nearly
years
10 years ago.
ago.
Yeah. And then we realised that all we do is, back then and now,
Yeah.
is be at the pub whinging about various just pop culture
Ah.
nonsense. And she thought, well, put it into some kind of podcast.
Perhaps someone might want to listen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And amazingly, about 10 people have, which is good.
Is it the same 10 people every week, do you think? Or
Well,
There's some
churn.
churn. Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, so the show is basically just, normally it's one of us teaching the other one about a topic.
Yes.
Yeah, we would spend a lot of our time at the pub sharing a beer. Well,
Yeah.
a beer each, not one beer.
Yeah. Yeah. Two
and-
straws.
Yeah, talking about TV shows and films and games that we loved. And we thought, well, that'll be fun. Maybe we can turn that into a podcast and create some of that kind of pub vibe.
Yeah.
But also, sometimes you would be really passionate about something that I had no idea about, and vice versa. So we
Right.
thought, we can kind of, be a little exchange of ideas as well.
Right.
A little mini history lesson each time.
Nice.
Which
I like it.
veers off into drunken.
I mean, that sounds
No
far more
nonsense.
educational than the Gerry Anderson podcast ever was or will be. I think.
Nonsense, you have fab facts.
That's true, we do. Now, so let's take that word. Morgan, can you explain to me what is, in your opinion, a geek? What makes a geek?
I think it's because historically it has had some negative connotations, that
Yep.
word, but I think we've reclaimed it, and
It's quite in vogue now, isn't it?
yeah, well, I think it's just someone who's passionate
Yeah.
about something.
Okay.
And I think part of that turnaround has been the way the internet has changed those kind of discussions, and social media definitely has its negatives and its positives.
Yeah.
But one of the positives is that you can find other people who are passionate about the same things that you are.
Yeah.
So when I was younger and I was a fan of Gerry Anderson or Doctor Who or any of these various things, I didn't really know anyone. There was no one at my school who was into the same sort of stuff. So you kind of hid that side of you away, those passions. But now I think the internet, you can kind of, whether it's forums or social media or any of those things, you can reach out and find like-minded people.
Yeah.
So it has become more of a positive thing, I think.
And we actually have a running gag on our show sometimes, though, that, like, are we a geek sometimes? Because the whole point is we don't know, one of us doesn't know something, or like, there's a film I haven't seen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you never
We-
seen that?
yeah,
Call yourself a geek?
Yeah, exactly. We each have
And
our
I'll probably prove that today.
yeah, we each have our areas that we're passionate about, but then also gaping holes in our
Yeah.
geek knowledge.
Right.
So
Oh, okay.
It's an
We're
ongoing
always learning,
education.
we're always learning.
Interesting. Well, we might put that to the test a little bit now because it's time for us to play a little game. Just to suss out your Gerry Anderson knowledge. We call it super identification. So on the screen here, you're going to see just a few moments from every opening title of every Gerry Anderson series.
Right.
And I want you to see how many you can guess. So as you see them, if you know them, shout them out. Okay.
Right, well, there are two of us, so we should
You'd think
technically
so.
have an advantage.
You'd think
but,
so. Right,
Could be
let's see.
shambles.
Let's see. Off we go.
Okay. Twizzle.
Oh, very good. Good start.
Torch in the Battle
Yes,
Boys.
yes, well done.
Fall for the Falls.
Yeah, Fall for the Fools.
Supercar.
You're doing very well.
Follow by myself.
Yes.
Follow that theme song.
Stand by for action.
Has to be. Yeah, okay. So glad you got that one.
Kind of a given.
Captain Scarlet.
Okay, so you know your Supermarination stuff. Good.
Joe 90.
Yeah.
Secret Service.
Secret Service.
Right.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, UFO.
UFO, yeah. Protectors.
Detective. Space 99.
I mean, you're cooking on gas.
This is an emergency.
Hey, here we go. Right.
Dick Spanner.
Yes.
Space Precinct.
The place of legend.
Lavender Castle. New Scarlet. Yeah.
Well, that's it. Well, amazing. There you go.
Prove
So,
our geek knowledge.
We did have an advantage going. There were two of us.
Yeah, there were two of
I
you,
don't know if
but
we would've- yeah.
okay. And to celebrate the fact that we have two of you today, here
Oh,
you are.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Special Two Geeks, Two Beers Thunderbirds characters. I mean, of course, out of 18 of them, you got all 18 right between you. But, as you said, there are two of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Slightly.
So I'm going to give you
Sort of
9.
cheating.
Going to halve it.
No, come on.
That's how harsh I
That
am.
is savage.
There it is. But
take
let's
it,
face
we'll
it, I'll
take it.
stick it there. I mean, you are beating Ronnie LeDrew, the voice of Zippy, quite by some way, so that's not too bad, is it? Yeah, well done. So, I mean, there were no gaps there at all, really. I did sense sometimes that you were kind of following each other's lead. Were there some there that were more tricky than others for either of you?
Well, it goes back to us having that those gaps in our knowledge, and that you will know stuff that I don't know about. So the first ever episode we did of Two Geeks, Two Beers, the
Yes.
podcast, was about Terrahawks, and that was
yeah.
coming on to 10 years ago now. And at the time, I had never seen a single episode of Terrahawks. Tom was a massive, massive fan, and so was kind of filling me in. And since then, I've kind of, caught up.
Yeah.
Right.
Whereas you're much more knowledgeable about me, about the live action stuff, like Space 99.
Space 1999.
Okay.
You're more Super Marionation, Super Macronation guy.
Have you
Yeah.
now seen all of the series, or an example from all of the series, if not
yeah.
all the
Well,
episodes?
yeah. I can't claim to have seen every single episode
Yeah.
of everything.
Yeah. Oh, well, kindly leave now.
You've seen episode 7? Or?
I haven't binge watched Torchy, but I think we've probably each seen an episode
consumed
of
something.
every single
Okay.
series, and some we've seen.
Yes, multiple times.
Every single.
Oh, I see. Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not so hot on Lavender Castle, though, I've got to say.
No, that's probably.
Well, we might have a question or two on Lavender Castle a bit
Oh,
later on from our viewers and listeners who have been sending in some questions that we'll pose a little later. Now, Morgan, eagle-eyed listeners and viewers will recognise you from a previous appearance on the Gerry Anderson podcast.
This guy again.
So they will know your association then, I think, with Digital Spy and now with Radio Times.
Well, I used
or had
to
you had you started Radio Times then?
I
Do you
think
remember?
I'd made the crossover.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was previously the TV editor at Digital Spy,
Yeah.
which is a news and entertainment website for anyone who doesn't know, for about 10 years, and then I moved across to RadioTimes.com, and I'm now the editor of the website. But that's just a hobby. Two Geeks, Two Beers is my
Is that what it feels like?
my life, my passion.
Are you one of those lucky people then that have found an occupation that is their hobby?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Like
Yeah?
the stuff I'm passionate about is entertainment, is TV, is films, is games, and I am very lucky that has in some ways become my living and my passion.
Yeah. And Tom, what on earth do you do?
Well, actually, I used to work at Digital Spy as well.
Which is where we met.
I see.
And then, so I was a features writer there, so on TV and all that kind of thing. But then I did a master's in radio years and years ago, so I've always wanted to work in that side of things. And now I am the digital editor of Smooth Radio and Gold at Global.
Okay.
If you love your George Michaels and
Who doesn't?
Yeah. So very similar to
Taxi
you,
FM, as my
music.
wife calls it.
Yeah. Although if you ever hear Magic, you have to turn it.
Yeah, that's right.
And so it's kind of the same thing, but more on the music end of the spectrum. So I think we're just both obsessed with pop culture and any kind of sphere.
What he's driving at is that he does a lot of the heavy lifting when it comes to the Two Geeks, Two Beers podcast.
Well, I mean, that sounds very familiar.
Yeah, he does all the audio recording and editing. And
Yeah.
I just turn up.
Now, so what would our viewers and listeners expect to hear and see if they tuned into a Two Geeks, Two Beers podcast?
A drunken mess. Because we normally go for at least one pint. We don't do it while recording anymore. We used to. We're a bit more professional outfit now, sort of. But yeah, the thing is, we like to try and do a different topic that's quite different to the previous episode each time. So 1 minute we'll be doing Animals Are Falling Wood, and then we'll be doing, what was it, Generation X?
So what you need for a successful podcast
Yes.
is to have
tell me.
is to have a very clear niche and to identify that niche.
Sure.
So what we thought we'd do is have it about something completely different every single week.
I know. We always joke that if we did it again now,
it'd be totally different.
Of course,
because we're appealing to a different audience every week, or appealing to no one. But no, it is very kind of, some weeks it will be about a film that we're very nostalgic about. Some weeks it's a TV show. Some weeks it's a game. I say week. We don't put them out every week.
Okay.
It's every month or so. We put out a new episode.
And I suppose then Gerry Anderson was bound to, or is going to feature at some point.
Absolutely.
Have you touched on many of his programs yet?
Oh.
Well, so the first episode was Terrahawks. We actually want to do a redux, if you will, of that, because it's been so long since we did it. If we listen to it now, it'd be very embarrassing.
Yeah.
But we had obviously Jamie come on the show as well, which was brilliant.
Yeah.
We could do an episode on all of the Gerry Anderson.
We could and should. So stay tuned. There'll be more Gerry Anderson themed episodes in the future, no question.
And so thinking of the Gerry Anderson shows, and that's why we're here, of course, Gerry Anderson Podcast.
Yeah.
How can you place Gerry's series in the context of the sort of stuff that you watch? Is it, in terms of quality, is it a nostalgic kick, or do you think the series still have things to offer today?
Well, I suppose a big chunk of it, and the other thing we like is the nostalgia angle. It sort of harking back to a different time. And I think for me, growing up, for whatever reason, puppets in general just connected with me. I think there's so many of my favourite things, whether it's Labyrinth or even things like Fireman Sam, where it's not puppets, but that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or, I remember watching those old Pinky and Perky shows from the 60s and had a VHS of that. But I think there's just something about that which taps into maybe, I don't know if it's just our era or still.
I think it's partly nostalgia, but I also think nostalgia only does so much of the heavy lifting, and something still needs to be good to engage. And we didn't watch those shows when they first went out. We watched them in the early 90s.
Of course, yeah,
and they had to compete with modern shows.
Yeah.
But the fact that they did, I think, is testament to how much hard work and effort went into crafting those shows, and the fact that there was such a kind of high bar for quality. That you can watch clips now and they still, the effects still stand up. Quite often the performances still stand up, the writing.
Yeah. And when did you become aware of sort of Gerry Anderson as a producer, as a name? When you were watching those early shows, were you able to attach the name Gerry Anderson to Terrahawks, or did it sort of pass you by until later?
I think it's because it's such big, bright letters, isn't it? I think I didn't. Maybe when I was a kid, I didn't know necessarily who he was until later.
You knew the name.
Yeah, because pre-internet, you didn't have all that information at hand. But he was like, who's this? Like spearheading the whole thing.
I think I was, as you say, you might not be aware of like the man necessarily, but you knew the name and you sort of knew the brand, even though you probably didn't think of it that way when you were. But definitely later in life, like there are certain things like Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet and Stingray. I think more so the Supermarionation stuff that you would more readily associate with him. And then I think there were shows that I'd heard of, but didn't necessarily know they were part of the stable. So I think even when I watched Space Precinct for the first time, I maybe didn't make the connection that it's the guy who did Thunderbirds and all those previous shows.
And of course, it was so different. The live action shows are so different from the likes of Joe 90 and Captain Scarlet. That, it's the breadth of the storytelling and
but still with the common elements, which is that sense of adventure and the great characters and quite often the technology. And
I'm just always amazed at how many they were able to churn out and all the different worlds within each show.
Well, 18 opening title sequences we just showed you.
How did you have time to come up with all those stories?
Well, I've always said if someone had created, if Gerry had only created Thunderbirds or only created Space 1999, he'd still be held up as this incredible creative force. To have made that many...
It's like Prince, like just an album every year, at least one.
The Prince of cult TV
absolutely.
Now, I asked you in our email exchange earlier in the week to furnish me with some early Anderson memories. So, Morgan, we're going to start with you, and we're going to have a look at what you were watching as a wee Morgan Jeffrey. Take a look at this.
Captain, you don't stand a chance. You throw your gun away, and I'll come in and pick you both up.
You heard him, Scarlet. Do what he says.
Okay, Captain Scarlet. It's either gonna be you or me.
There we go, the climax to the first episode of Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons.
The car view there, the most impractical parking structure there's
Don't mention
ever
that.
been.
Shh, no, we don't talk about that. So your first Anderson memory. So how old would you have been the first time you saw Captain Scarlet?
I
When
think
that?
it was repeats, obviously, in the early 90s.
Yeah.
I think it was maybe like 92, 93.
Right,
it was
okay.
repeated.
Yeah.
Someone might correct me, but so I would have been 6 or 7.
Okay.
Yeah, 8 at the most, I think.
And you were very specific in your email to me about the moment that Captain Scarlet's expression on his face having been shot and falling.
Yeah,
That-
well, it's those moments. I obviously had watched the whole episode,
Yeah.
but it's certain moments that stick with you. I think like visceral images that
Yeah.
get burned into your brain when you're younger.
Yeah.
And I specifically remember the puppet's face
Yeah,
changing when he
that's
gets
right.
shot and the horrible grimace, and then that chilling, blood-curdling scream as he. Because I think as a kid, you don't like to be, or I didn't like to be talked down to. So anything that felt a bit grown up was exciting.
Yeah.
So when you saw someone get shot and pull a horrible face and plummet to their death, and it was like, whoa, this is great. This is thrilling. Yeah.
That's right. Well, Sadie Miller, who was a previous guest, was talking about the feeling of feeling fear in safety.
Yes.
In a safe environment is
Yes,
an
it's
important
those-
thing for kids.
Yeah, and-
a seminal moment, perhaps.
And Doctor Who, I think, does the same thing or did the same thing for a lot of its fans, which
Yeah.
is those safe scares. It's not full-blooded horror movie scares that keep you up at night. It's those fun behind the sofa scares.
That's right. But more of a fan of the live action stuff, you say, Morgan. So is there a reason? How do you feel about the puppets, the marionettes?
No, I mean, I love it all, and I'm a big fan of the super. I'd say I probably I was into the 60s stuff, so definitely Captain Scarlet and the Mysterons, probably my favourite of all the Anderson series. Space Precinct, because it was the first. I think I had some knowledge of the fact that Captain Scarlet and Thunderbirds were not as good as they looked. They weren't new shows.
Sure.
So my parents would say, "Oh, I used to watch those."
Yes.
Space Precinct was the first Anderson show that felt like it was for me because it was new at the time.
And do you remember anything of sort of the buzz around it? Do you remember the trailers for the new series, or did you just kind of stumble across it?
I think I might have just stumbled across it, but I certainly remember it being a big deal on the BBC at the time. I felt like this was this big flagship, big budget, which it was, show, and there was a lot of fuss being made around it at the time.
I had Space Precinct Pogs.
Yes.
The Pogs.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It was the most 90s thing ever, Space Precinct and Pogs.
What even were Pogs? What did you do with Pogs? Were they like tiddlywinks? Or did you just collect them? Or what were they? They were flicking or tapping?
You're meant to, but it was a game where you had.
You've got me started now. You went,
we did a whole Pogs episode.
We did a whole episode about Pogs.
You sent two bits of cardboard, a slammer, and then you were meant to do.
Wow.
Yeah. But no one played it, did
No,
they?
no.
So you had an Officer Oren Pogs? Did you have Officer Oren Pogs?
Oh, maybe. Who knows? You'd go to like the Arndale Centre on a Saturday, and
sounds amazing.
It was like very dodgy dealings going on, but I miss those days.
Swapping Pogs at the Arndale Centre.
Now we do have some questions in our Space 1999 lunchbox.
Nice. That is amazing.
Very,
incredible.
very kindly sent in from some of our listeners and viewers. So there are two of you. So just reach in and maybe take a couple each for now, and then we'll do a couple each again next week.
There we go.
Thank you.
See how we go.
Oh,
All right, one
another
more
one.
for you then, Morgan.
Okay.
That's it. Right, Morgan. After you then.
Oh, okay. Wow. So Jonathan Bell
Yeah.
says, this is a very specific question.
good.
What's our favourite lager each? What's your favourite lager?
Okay.
Or I guess we can open it up to be beers more generally.
Yeah. Well, people. This is where people sort of lose respect because
Yeah. The other thing.
This is where they lose.
if they're still
The
here.
other thing you need for a successful podcast is a very clear brand, great branding.
Right.
And most people think we host a craft beer podcast. So again, it's not.
Yeah.
Would not be
I can
called
see
that
that.
now.
No, we would rename it, and
Okay.
and it would be about something totally different.
Right,
If we
but
were-
apart from
Please
that,
listen.
apart from that, it's a huge success.
Well, yeah. thing is, I'm quite partial to John Smith's.
Oh, okay.
Which isn't a lager, I know.
No, it isn't.
I'm going for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. I quite like a Heineken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are, don't you?
Yeah, but these are the kind of insights that people
I
tune
know.
to the Gerry Anderson podcast for.
Don't worry, I'll cut all this.
But there you go. That's that one.
Excellent. Okay, Tom.
Okay.
Who do you have there?
This is from James Pilson Wood.
Oh, yes.
Why do you think cartoons from the 80s and 90s have far better theme songs than anything from the 2000s onwards?
Yeah.
I think it's because of the rise of streaming, and in particular that option you now have to skip intro. So you would see that shows now quite often they would why invest all that time and money into great title sequences, great theme songs of the sort that Barry Gray used to write when people could just.
They used to be the hook to bring you in, but now they're disposable, aren't they?
Well, I remember the day, it was when like 24 and Lost were big and they just didn't have theme songs.
Yeah.
That was praise.
So I think, I think they just, for whatever reason, they were like, we've got to fit in so much stuff in the next 40 odd minutes or whatever. And they just didn't think that
It's a loss, though.
Yeah.
And why do they stay with us for so long? I mean, I remember theme tunes in particular from shows I was watching in the 70s and and 80s. So why is it that those songs stay with us?
I think it's just a different time, I guess. I think back in like even 70s, 80s, even for like films, you'd have like big songs from the film that would be part of it. That'd be part of the successful film. They'd release the main single.
Even into the 90s.
Yeah, well into the 90s. But for whatever reason, that fell out of fashion, and it might have just seemed a bit naff after a certain while. But I think that we miss that now. I think it's proven, Barbie just proved that you can do it.
Right.
So I think, I don't think we talk about Barbie today. But,
I thought.
but yeah, it is a lost art, and I think TV and film, I think we miss it.
Yeah. Another question there,
What
Morgan?
we've got here. Michael Morris says, "Are you planning a Rainbow Bright episode?" We weren't, but we can.
If there's demand for it.
Yeah.
Well, there obviously is.
Yeah.
There's one
We've
viewer.
got at least one listener, which is one more than we normally have.
Well,
So-
tell us about Rainbow Bright, for those of us that don't know. Do you know?
Well, wasn't it the equivalent of He-Man?
Oh,
for,
yeah?
For girls at the time?
Oh, right.
That's
Okay.
She-Ra, isn't it?
Well, it's She-Ra, isn't it? I remember my sister having Rainbow Bright dolls.
Right, okay.
That's all I can remember.
Okay.
So, we'll look into it.
Yeah.
Okay.
This will be one where neither of us knows about
That's
it.
right.
And we'll learn as we go.
Yeah.
Which
But
we have done before, which is
Yeah.
even more of a drunken shambles.
What is your sort of criteria for choosing shows? Is it the more obscure the better, or not
Sometimes.
necessarily?
Yeah, I think it's just as long as it's got that kind of passionate geekiness to it. We really stretched that. Like I did an episode on the Lake House of Keanu Reeves once.
Right.
just because it's
Just because
genuinely one of his favourite films.
Okay. Yeah.
But so kind of anything goes. The longer they go on.
Yeah.
I think having some sort of nostalgia around
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
important. So that can be something that has a really clear kind of like sci-fi angle to it.
Yeah.
But also we did an episode about Live and Kicking from the 1990s, which was the kind of
Live and
Saturday
Kicking.
morning.
That's right, magazine
children's
programme,
program.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people our age do have really fond memories of that show. So I think nostalgia is the main thing.
Yeah. Another question there, Tom?
Yeah, this is from Paul Hyder. Geek used to be an insult. What changed?
Well, kind of covered that. I think
Yeah.
it's the fact that people have kind of found their geek tribe, and you don't feel like you have to be. It was used maybe as an insult, but now people are proud to be geeks, and I think
shows like weirdly like Big Bang Theory kind of helped with that in a weird way. Well, maybe it did, but I think it kind of put that sort of thing into the mainstream, and some people lurched down to that kind of
But we
thing.
still get to reclaim the word nerd.
Yeah.
That still needs
there's
a
a
bit
reason
more
it's
work.
not 2 nerds, 2 beers.
It does have a different angle to it.
yeah. Maybe that's next.
Yeah.
Right, well, so we looked at your first Anderson memory, Morgan. Tom, we'll turn our attention to you now and see what first caught your attention from the Anderson universe.
Awesome.
There he is.
Why is he smiling? I look miserable.
So good. Technically not even Gerry Anderson.
It's not.
It counts. It shouldn't be that good.
I mean, that's the first time we've had a video I don't sting as the first Anderson. Explain yourself.
Well, it's what young people say. It goes far harder than it
Far
needs
harder.
to.
So this was I guess I was probably about 7 or 8 or even younger, where I think we were in some sort of shopping centre in Poole, Dorset.
I mean, what a life you live.
I
Spent his entire childhood in
Always in
shopping
that Arndale
centres.
centre. And yeah, we bought 2 Terrahawks VHSs, and the beginning of it starts with that, and so I only watched the same episodes of Terrahawks
Yes.
over and over again.
Yes.
And loved it.
Yeah.
But I knew I was in for a good time when that started up, and it's just something I don't even know what Channel 5 is. Did they just do VHSs?
Just distribute it.
Absolutely right. That's right. Yeah.
But that was just the excitement level building into the next.
Genuinely, I get like in my butterflies.
Takes you right back, doesn't it?
So
Yeah,
exciting.
that's right.
Again, you know, kids these days miss out on things like that. They don't have VHSs like that. So
You don't have that before a streaming
No.
show, do you?
And then, what do you remember specifically about Terrahawks, if anything, from those early days?
I mean, it just.
And what was it that grabbed you so much
I
about it?
think, well, straight in, you got Tiger Einstein going, stay on this channel.
Aha.
This is the emergency. And
Yeah.
the theme music is just, I'd say, I'm biased, but I say it is the best of all the Gerry Anderson shows. It's so catchy. But I just think it just felt like the modern, at the time, 80s equivalent of Thunderbirds and, following Star Wars and all that kind of thing. And I just loved the characters, loved the humour attached to it, and I think just as a kid, I seemed to gravitate towards more sci-fi stuff. Like I used to watch Red Dwarf at the time, even though I didn't really understand the jokes as a 7-year-old, but it was the same kind of vibe.
Yeah.
And just loved it.
And what about Terrahawks now? Does it still stand the test of time, do you think, in any
It does,
ways?
because that's the thing. I only watched those. It's probably about 8 episodes on those 2 VHSs.
Yeah.
And about 10-15 years later, I finally saw the rest. It was so exciting.
Okay.
Like, oh my god, there's loads.
Missing episodes.
And I will watch it now, and it still holds up, and it is just. And I'm sure it's a lot of it's the nostalgia attached to it.
Yeah.
I got you the Big Finish
Yeah,
set for your birthday.
Yeah, those are great.
Please,
as well.
Jamie.
I've got vinyl as well.
Excellent.
Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Excellent. There's a difference, of course, in the puppetry from the Super Marionation days to the Super Macromation.
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Was it a successful leap, do you think, or?
I think it was. I don't know if everyone agrees, but I know there's a certain vintageness to the Thunderbirds era.
Yeah.
But I suppose that's what I grew up with. But
Yeah.
I like the way that the puppets' expressions in Terrahawks look.
Yeah.
And the way, especially characters like Zelda and how terrifying, such terrifying creatures in
Yes.
Terrahawks that turn up.
That's right.
So yeah, I think that was great.
Yeah.
And a great lineage there with Denise Breyer doing the voice of Zelda, who was, of course, in the early
back to
days.
Twizzle, yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Now, I suppose we better have a little look at Two Geeks, Two Beers in action. See what that's all about.
Oh, okay.
Let's have a look.
Oh. What's it going to be?
David McCallum,
Yeah.
he released several albums in the 70s.
This is madness to
But he teamed up with a guy called David Axelrod.
Right.
And he didn't sing necessarily. He
Right.
sort of produced great, brilliant,
Genuinely good.
like instrumental stuff.
Oh, wow.
One of which was a song called The Edge.
Right.
Which was later sampled
Yeah.
by Dr. Dre and Snoop Dogg.
What?
So the next episode, down, 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 down. That's David McCallum.
Are you? That is
I'll play it to you now.
incredible.
Yeah. This is the original.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Now, that blew my socks off when I heard that, because I didn't know that.
You were amazed.
For those kind of great trivia facts, tune into the Two Geeks, Two Beers podcast.
Yeah, incredible. How do you find this stuff then? You just stumbled across it by accident, or
Yeah, sometimes,
did you know that
I
and
did know
you were
that
saving
anyway.
it for when?
Yeah.
Well,
I
this
was-
is an example of you have a really incredible encyclopedic knowledge of classic music, like you can do every Christmas #1 ever.
Right.
Things
great.
like that, which is just not my sphere of knowledge at all.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
But yeah, I remember almost saying it to you in the pub beforehand.
Yeah.
I can't
Save it.
I got to see your reaction
On camera.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So, where can our viewers and listeners find the Two Geeks, Two Beers podcast?
Oh, twogeeks2beers.com
Right.
is the website, and
Yep.
you can find the podcast anywhere you get podcasts.
Yeah,
really.
Spotify and
Yeah.
and everywhere else.
And either of you on social media that we could give you a follow on? as
Yeah,
well?
the podcast is Two Geeks Cast
Yeah.
on variously Facebook
Yeah.
and X as it is now, and
Instagram.
Threads and
TikTok.
Instagram.
Wow.
and
You're all
then-
over it.
We're all over it. And then I'm at Morgan Jeffery on Twitter, X.
Yep.
That's probably the best place to
Yeah,
find
and
me.
I'm at Eamesy, which is EAMEZEY.
Excellent. Good work. Now, that noise means it's time for your final game. It's called Quickfire 5. Now, there are two of you, So I'm going to give you a question each, and they require an either or answer. Okay.
Do we get half points again?
No, there's no scoring this time.
Okay.
You'll be relieved to hear. So, you need to choose a base. Morgan, Jeffrey, Tracy Island, or Hawk Nest.
He's going to be mad, but I'm going to say Tracy Island.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tom,
Island.
David McCallum as Spectrum's Colonel White, or William Shatner as Space Precinct's Captain Podley.
I'm going to go for McCallum.
Oh,
This one.
yeah, got to be done. Choose a robot companion, Morgan. Sergeant Major Zero or R2-D2.
I'm Sergeant Major Zero.
Really?
No question.
Oh, yeah, okay. Tom, can I order you some lunch? Perhaps you'd like some delicious Simpter Squab from Space Precinct or a bowl of Terrahawks Granite Crunchies.
It's going to have to be the granite crunchies, isn't it?
You quite often eat cereal for lunch.
I do. And dinner.
Yeah, fine. Now, you're going to have to fight over this one between you. So choose your Spectrum Agent colour from the Dulux colour range. So which of you is which? I need a Captain Jasmine Shimmer and a Lieutenant Raspberry Diva.
Oh, I think you're the Raspberry Diva.
I instantly gravitate towards that.
Yeah. And I'll Shimmer.
Yeah. It suits you. Well done. Yeah, great. That's your quick fire 5. What's the strangest, best, and worst things you've covered as part of the podcast? Tom, we'll start with you. Strangest, best, and worst.
What's the strangest thing we've ever done? Like, it's normally something that one of us... Oh, well, I did do Tiny Toon Adventures.
Yeah.
The what?
Do you remember the Tiny Toon Adventures?
No.
It was like a spin-off of the Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
Ah.
And you were just like, why are we doing this? Is this geeky? It's like, yes, look how passionate I am about it.
Why were you
Essentially-
passionate about that?
Well, it's just another silly childhood cartoon that did it for me at the time.
Right.
Yes, that's probably one of the strangest.
One of the strangest.
Yeah.
Just in terms of trying to really stretch the old geek.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In terms of best.
Best,
Yeah.
probably our first episode all about Terrahawks.
I can't do that because it's all downhill.
And our, it's all downhill.
No, the best one was the last one, surely.
And our Jamie
latest.
Anderson interview special. No, but that Jamie episode was, he's not in the room, so we can be nice about
Yeah.
him.
Did you get any sort of inside information from the son of the creator of Terrahawks?
You'll have to listen to find out.
Oh.
I think so.
Yeah, we had Nick Briggs on as well.
Yeah, I've had a few guests.
Yeah.
We interviewed Ed Solomon, who is the writer behind the Bill and Ted movies.
Wow.
Which I loved when I was a kid.
Amazing.
So that was, and he wrote loads of other movies like Men in Black.
Oh wow!
So that was.
How on earth did you bag him?
That was cool. He's just a very nice man.
Yeah.
I just sort of asked, and he said
Amazing.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
In terms of worst, what was the one that was?
Yeah,
was
careful
the,
now.
The least downloads.
Yeah.
Now this is unfair. So yeah,
It's not so bad now.
It's not the worst, but
Yeah.
it's the least popular episode of all time.
Right, okay.
I wanted to do an episode about Ulysses 31, which was an animated series from the 1980s, which is Ulysses, but he's in the 31st century.
cracking theme song.
Okay.
Again, great
Right, really?
theme song. Yeah, this is the 31st century.
Yeah, okay.
Ulysses killed a giant cyclone. It's great. It's genuinely,
Right.
yeah. If nothing else, go on YouTube and
Yes.
search for Ulysses 31 just for the theme song.
Okay.
But it seems my passion did not extend
No,
to the wider
sadly.
listening audience.
Because a lot of the time we'll pick which one we're doing, and then sometimes might not even tell the other one what we're doing.
I
and
see.
then so often you'll bring one like that, and I'm like, what's this? Like,
Yeah.
Yes.
okay.
Well,
I assume people know what it is.
Yeah, my brother is slightly older than me, 6 years older. So through him, I got to enjoy a lot of those 80s shows, which maybe you're not as familiar with. You more like me, watch things in the early 90s.
That's why it's a history lesson, isn't it?
There you go.
Every day's a school day.
Yeah.
And was there anything in particular, any show that made both of you, was it any of them a struggle to get through for both of you?
Well, actually, there was one which we recorded, and then I hadn't actually recorded it. And so
Oh,
we
well,
had to do it again.
been there, done that.
Well, what was brilliant about that
Yeah.
one was normally we have not a script, but we have notes and
Yeah.
so if we were to ever not record an episode, if there was ever a technical error, it would be relatively easy to restage.
Yeah.
However, this episode was about those choose your own adventure books.
Oh, yes.
And so what we had done was a kind of almost like a live live experience
Like it.
of choose your own adventure.
James Bond.
Some might say almost impossible to
It was
restage.
Yeah,
particularly
maybe.
good as well, our little adventure that
Yeah.
we created, and then got back home to do the editing, and then I pressed record,
Well done.
but somehow
Degree in audio.
there was no audio.
Yeah.
And then I phoned you, didn't I?
Well, because we message most days. He never calls me, and so if he calls me, I think something really bad has happened. And he's like, "Morgan, I've got some really bad news."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What's wrong?" And he's like, "Yeah, the episode just didn't record. He was,
It can happen. It can
devastation.
happen. But you've dodged the question. I want to know, in your opinion, what's the worst TV show ever?
Oh, right.
What's something I've done that you were like, what? I'm never going to watch this in a million years.
Oh, what, the one we've covered, you mean?
Yeah.
Probably Ulysses 31.
What?
Well,
you saw the clips.
Contentious.
Yeah.
How dare
Wow.
you?
Or the Incredible Hulk
From
cartoon.
from the 1960s.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
With the dreadful theme tune.
Ah.
Oh yeah, no, you're thinking of not the 80s one. Yeah,
No,
the
yeah,
60s Incredible
one,
Hulk. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was pretty ropey, that one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's not one we can really sell. But yeah.
Almost as fun to watch terrible TV as watching great
Absolutely,
TV,
that's
isn't
the
it?
thing. Even if- I think sometimes we'll go out of our way to pick bad things.
Yeah, quite often we're nostalgic about things that we know are terrible.
Yeah.
That's right.
And it will be just fun sharing those clips and being like, look how bad this was.
Yeah.
Like, that's also quite
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go from the from the ridiculous to the sublime.
Yeah.
Last week we asked for your first Anderson memories. This week we're going to have a look at your favourite Anderson moments, scenes, or characters. So we'll start with you, Tom.
Yeah.
Let's see what you picked.
Right.
There he is, smiley face.
Flaming thunderbolt.
Didn't expect you, sir.
That's obvious. What do you think you're playing at, Zero?
I was playing your video game, sir.
Get out of there.
What's the matter?
I come in here and what do I find? Zero's playing my game.
That's not so terrible. What did you score, Sergeant Major?
820, Mom. And I hadn't finished.
What? That's higher than
Higher than your best ever score, Tiger?
820? I don't believe it.
He can't lie. He's just a machine with limited intelligence. Isn't that what you always say?
Harsh.
Well, what I meant to say was flaming thunderbolts.
So petty.
You had the whole of Gerry Anderson's legacy to choose from.
That's it.
That one scene from that one episode. Why?
I think it's just certain lines, isn't there, that you just remember for. I mean, obviously, Flaming Thunderbolts is a great expression.
Yes.
Zero's playing
But
my
that-
game.
he's so crabby. And I remember we were saying this at the time. It was like, Nice a bit of a git, really, isn't it? He's like technically not very likable. but you love him for it.
Yeah.
But I love just the fact that all he wants to do is play his game and beat his high score.
Yeah.
And then Zero just shows him right up.
Yeah. Well, but it exemplifies the humour that you were talking about.
Yeah, it's not just always
Space adventures.
Exactly. No, I like that. Yeah.
Now, earlier, Morgan alluded to the fact that these days there's more of a community around the sort of science fiction viewers and fandom and so on. But of course, when we were growing up, there was less of that. So were you pretty much on your own enjoying this stuff? Or did you talk to it with friends? Did you have a group who are like-minded or not?
Not really.
Yeah.
No, I think it was. I wouldn't say it was a shame or anything, but it was just one of those things where I think you, as you said earlier, you have your kind of your own little world almost. Like there's also another podcast I do, which is if you want a niche, is called Electric Friends, and it's all about Gary Newman and his music. Which I think
previous
he had on the
podcast
show.
guest, yes, big Captain Scarlet fan.
Yeah, but so Gary was an example of something which was very much my own little private thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, I can't tell anyone at school that I'm really into Gary Newman's music. Well, I should have been brave and it should have been fine. But now we live in this world where there's a whole, you can.
Actually, there's something. You say you should have been brave and more open with your love of Gary Newman or Terrahawks, but actually there's something about keeping things, having that thing to yourself, which is also quite important.
And that's the thing, I think if Terrahawks at the time suddenly became this massive deal, I'd have been like, oh, that was mine.
Well, that's right.
Yeah. Also, you then have to listen to other people's opinions. So there's nothing worse. It's like, I think the best episode's this.
Oh, don't get involved in that. Exactly. No, I was a big fan of Star Trek Next Generation in the 80s and early 90s. And I remember going to see Generations, the movie, at the cinema and hating every moment of it. What are you doing here? What are these people doing here? This is mine.
It's like when your family talk during the Doctor Who Christmas special and it's like...
Absolutely.
You're getting it wrong.
That's right. Now, we do have some more questions from our wonderful viewers and listeners in our Space 1999 lunchbox. Come all the way from the USA, this.
Oh, wow.
That's why it's a little battered. So I think there's probably enough to take maybe a couple more each for this week. So reach over if you can.
There we go.
Let's clear the decks.
Oh, should take all of them?
Yeah, take them all. They've all got to be answered. That's great. Yeah, well done. Right, Tom, let's hear the first one.
So, Roger Morgan says, can you name any show you think is crying out to be remade today, Anderson or otherwise? Myself, I would love to see a modern version of Nigel Neal's Quatermass stories.
Which we did an episode. We did
Yeah.
an episode
Ah,
on
good.
Quatermass. We talked about why haven't they remade it. I mean, they did. They did that
Well, they
the live episode.
They did.
But more recently.
What's your general view of sort of remakes and reboots? Should things be left in the past for us to enjoy?
Depends
or?
what it is, I guess.
Yeah?
It depends on the execution and why you're doing it as well. So if it's just a cash in,
Yeah.
then no. But if you genuinely think there's something new that you could do with the concept, like
Yeah.
new Captain Scarlet is a
Yeah.
good example where some people would say the original is untouchable, but actually they did new things with the characters, they did new things with the storytelling. There was a whole new technology to explore. I think if you'd done Captain Scarlet with some form of puppetry again,
Yeah.
actually there was, as I say, there was a whole new way of doing things.
Yeah.
So there's merit in something like that,
I
definitely.
think as long as you've got the heart of it and you're respecting the fans and you're sticking to what made the original great and you're not trying to like completely
Yeah.
rehash it.
But I mean, even Gerry himself got stick for remaking Captain Scarlet. So it's his show.
Exactly. yeah.
But I think that is the one, Captain Scarlet, that should be remade today, because there are so many interesting themes in the original and ideas that new Captain Scarlet did delve into a little bit more.
Yeah.
But actually, I still think this idea of Captain Scarlet, the lead character, is not the real Captain Scarlet. He's a Mr. On duplicate, and Captain Blue has to work alongside this clone of his best friend who murdered his best friend. Like that's so deep and dark and
Isn't
complex. It's like there's a lot you could get into.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's right. Question for you there, Morgan.
Simpsons Clips says, are you guys aware of Lavender Castle? So we talked about this in the last episode. Aware, certainly, but probably not one that would be top of our Anderson
it's
rankings.
One I'd want to like
delve into some more.
I mean, it's not sort of readily available on DVD and
No,
Blu-ray
it's
so
not.
much as the other series.
And also, I think it when it was first broadcast, we were maybe a little too old to kind of be the target audience, and then haven't had the opportunity to kind of go back and revisit. But maybe we should do an episode on Lavender Castle. We'll do them all. We'll do them all.
Do them all, exactly. Got time. Tom, another question?
Yeah. We have John Reader. Hi both. Did your interest include 2005's new Captain Scarlet? If so, were you aware of the original?
So yes,
absolutely.
were you? Well, I guess you were.
Yeah,
big time.
Yeah, the original is my favourite Gerry Anderson series.
Yeah.
I think. Again, I would have watched it in the kind of the early '90s. Repeats and just absolutely fell in love with it.
Yeah.
I think I talked about this a bit when I was on the podcast before, but I think I was a big fan of Marvel Comics and Spider-Man, X-Men when I was a kid, all those kinds of things. And I think Captain Scarlet is the closest thing to a superhero story in many ways you have in the Anderson universe, where he has superpowers and they all have their own outfits and they're like a team. And so I think that's probably why it appealed to me. And I was aware of new Captain Scarlet when it went out, but I don't think. But it was cut to pieces, wasn't it? Famously, as part of Ministry of Mayhem. So I don't think I could tolerate that. But I've since gone back and watched it in the manner it was intended.
Great. Another question, I think.
Sure.
Careful
so
now.
We have Morty Vicker.
Oh yes.
How would you add a specifically Cornish angle to an Anderson show? Put Tracy Island by the Sillies, have the Mr. On's destroy a clotted cream factory, and then horror follow it with a huge jam lorry crashing on top.
Oh, that is offensive.
There are lots of Scottish references, but not Cornish.
Okay, come on, give us your best Cornish Gerry Anderson series or story.
Well, I've been thinking about this, and I think you could do quite a good episode of Thunderbirds.
Yes.
That's international. I mean, there were episodes where there's mining disasters, but there could be a mining disaster in a Cornish tin mine.
Yes.
And they get trapped, and international rescue have to come and.
I mean, St Michael's Mount has got to feature somewhere, isn't it?
Oh, that would be great.
That's got to be a rocket of its own.
And then at the end, you can have Grandma Tracy bringing them out scones with jam, and then cream on top.
Get it right, please.
That's right.
So you're Cornish by descent, obviously.
Yeah.
A proud Cornishman.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Great.
If the accent didn't give it away.
Slightly. Another question there, I think. Got a couple more?
One more.
Okay.
From Steve Bushell.
Yes.
He says, as someone who lived through the 80s, you chose the best decade for all things geek. Thank you, Steve. My perfect tipple is pear cider, but do you enjoy craft beers?
Well, that took a swerve, didn't it? I love 80s TV. What's your favourite bit?
You like craft beers?
Yeah,
Craft beer. What's a craft beer? Explain that to me.
It's kind of the hipster choice now, isn't it? It's just everywhere now.
Yeah.
It's like a good 15 years ago.
Is it like local breweries? Again, our podcast is not actually about beer. It's misleading, the title.
But that's why I stick to the old faithfuls, like a John Smith's or Heineken, you know.
Well, did you try the Terrahawks beer?
No.
It was Terrahawks beer, wasn't it? I was checking.
Yeah, it was Terrahawks beer.
Yeah. No, or maybe we'll find you a
Yeah,
case.
we haven't had an opportunity.
Absolutely,
Send us some Terrahawks beer and we'll give you a plug on the podcast.
Yeah, that's right.
And Steve also says, what do you think of remakes? Are they worth it? But I think we've
there you go.
sort of covered that.
Yeah, that's right. Great. Fantastic. So, Morgan, let's take a look at your favourite Gerry Anderson moment. Now, we've already discussed Captain Scarlet, but there was another show that you mentioned in your reply to me. And, I thought I'd pick a moment from another favourite TV series. Shame, isn't it?
That's twice now.
Oliver Cotton, Burt Kwok, 1994's Space Precinct. I don't know if you know this, but I was in Space Precinct.
Were you?
I don't like to talk about it.
Oh, okay. Talk about it later.
But so, what are your memories of watching Space Precinct? Did you watch it all, or do you remember that scene in particular that I chose for you?
I definitely watched it all at the time, and I think I remember being so excited because it felt like this was the first Gerry Anderson show that was being made for my generation, and I feel like there was a real buzz around it. Thinking back, I feel like there might have even been a piece on the news or something about it, and about how the masks worked, and the fact that they all, they had motors whizzing inside, as you well know. I just loved Space Precinct, and I loved the characters. I've got stick before for saying I thought Haldane was cool.
Right.
He was just like slick and a bit of a ladies' man, and when you're sort of 8 or 9.
But watch it now.
Yeah, I know it hasn't aged well. No, but at the time I thought he was like the coolest, and still the alien effects and the prosthetics look incredible.
It was a problematic series in many ways in terms of its tone. Did that make an impact on you at all, or you not remember that at the time?
I think it worked for me. At that age, because I know, like in retrospect, people have said, it's kind of, it can't decide whether it wants to be family friendly or if it wants to be Blade Runner. But at the time, I think that worked. It had that sense of a kind of spacefaring adventure that I loved. Yeah. But also, as I was talking about earlier with Captain Scarlet, it had occasionally those darker moments which made me feel like I wasn't being talked down to, like I wasn't watching, even though I was a kid. I didn't want to feel like I was watching kids stuff. I wanted to feel like I was being treated with kind of respect. There was sort of dark themes sometimes, like psychological ideas in there as well, and that definitely appealed to me alongside the comedy and the great effects.
Did watching Space Precinct tempt you to watch other Anderson shows, to delve back into the back catalogue, such as you could in the 90s? VHS, I don't know.
I think I already had been watching repeats of Thunderbirds and Captain Scarlet and Stingray. I feel like they were all on maybe like BBC Two in the early 90s. But I don't think when I watched Space Precinct for the first time, I made the connection that it was Gerry Anderson, that it was by, even though it says Gerry Anderson Space Precinct. I don't think I made the connection that it was by the same, because it didn't necessarily feel of a piece at the time. I wasn't aware at that time of the likes of UFO and Space 1999. I watched them slightly later.
Which do feel of a piece, as you said. Both those series.
They do.
Whereas Space Precinct was sort of a world apart, really.
Yeah, I think of it as being almost like a bit of a melding of the two. So you have the Super Mario Nation shows that do sort of, certainly from kind of Supercar, Fireball, Thunderbirds, Stingray, you can they all kind of feel more or less of a piece.
Yeah.
And then UFO and Space 1999 very much feel of a piece. And then
almost existing in the same universe.
Yeah. But then Space Precinct is live action, but in terms of tone, maybe feels more like a Super Mario Nation show.
Yeah.
So it's kind of interesting. It's a one-off, but you can definitely see the Gerry Anderson lineage in it, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Let's take another look at the two geeks in action. What have you been up to now?
Ooh.
Let's have a look.
So in interviews before the rematch, Clubber says in the film, "I don't hate that boy, I pity the fool." The origin of Mr. T's catchphrase.
So this is
Which he never actually says in the 80s.
Does he not?
He never says I pity.
So
He says fool, shut up fool.
Yeah.
But he never says I pity the fool.
Because I feel like Mr. T is very much like the Bruce Forsyth of his day, where he'd bring his own catchphrases to different projects.
Yeah. Right. No one's ever made that comparison before. Nice to see you, nice fool. So,
did he do well?
Nothing worse than people laughing at their own jokes.
Hey woman, give us a twirl.
We had drunk quite a bit of this.
I mean, you seem to be having a great time.
I mean, that's a great episode of where we did an episode about a real kind of cult geek series. The Rocky movies.
Yeah, that's right. Really niche. Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
No, but that was because Tom had never seen a Rocky movie.
Never seen a Rocky movie.
No, I don't know how
I feel like I
avoided
have
it.
now because we went through every single one.
I've ruined them all.
I know, yeah.
And have you seen every episode of a Generation Game, though? That's.
I've seen more Generation Game. I like a bit of challenge.
Of course, that's right. Yeah, but that's a great thing now. Everything's available, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the other thing that's changed in the last 20 years. Everything is available somewhere.
Yeah.
So the access to this stuff is so much greater. Fantastic. So, where can our viewers and listeners find you? Tell us where we can find Two Geeks, Two Beers and your own personal social medias and so on.
Sure,
so we can give you a follow.
Go to 2geeks2beers.com. That's TWO.
Oh, yeah.
Because we realised we said that all the time on the show. Did people know?
That's why no one's coming to
That's
our
why no
website.
2geeks2beers.com or on all the socials at 2geekscast.
Mm-hmm. You can also email us.
Yes,
podcast at 2geeks2beers.com if you want to get in touch and suggest ideas for future episodes.
Yeah.
And then I'm on Twitter or X at Morgan Jeffrey.
And I'm at Eamesy.
Great. And do you have any future ideas for the next episode of Two Geeks? What plans do you have?
We're going to have our annual production meeting.
Production
Okay.
meeting. Just where we go to the pub.
I see. Yeah.
But we've got a few big plans. We've actually got a spin-off podcast in the works as well.
Have you now? Can you let us in on a few secrets about
we
that?
could make this an exclusive.
Exclusive announcement, go on.
Yeah. So it's going to be a spin-off podcast all about the music of James Bond. Going through each different theme and the music of each film.
Yeah. Which, again, I'm a massive James Bond fan. Tom is a chart fanatic and has that kind of music history knowledge, so we thought we'd bring those two together. Kiss Bang Bang, it's called. So
I like it.
That'll be launching sometime in 2022.
That'll please Terry Adlam. Right, brilliant. Look forward to that. But in the meantime, Two Geeks, Two Beers, Morgan Jeffrey, Tom Eames, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.